Hey mathematicians, today our lesson is over estimating quotients. Our TEK is 4.4g, round to the nearest 10, 100, or 1000, or use compatible numbers to estimate solutions involving whole numbers. Let's go ahead and read our learning goal together. Today I am learning how to estimate quotients using compatible numbers, so I can estimate and solve real-world problems. I'll know I have it when I can define and identify quotient, dividend, and divisor, and I can round the divisor and dividend to compatible numbers. Let's go ahead and look at our real-world connection. Items are sometimes sold in bulk, meaning the more you buy, the less you spend. But oftentimes we don't want to buy in bulk. We only want a few of the item. We can easily round the total bulk price and divide using compatible numbers to estimate the quotient or the price of an individual item. Let's say, for example, the entire 4th grade is going on a field trip. If you know the total amount of students and the number of students that can fit on a bus, you can estimate the number of buses you will need to take everyone on the trip. Let's look at our vocabulary for this lesson. A dividend is the number that is being divided. So I like to remember divide in, dividend. Divisor is the number the dividend is being divided by. So this is the number that's going to be on the outside. The quotient is the answer to a division problem. This is also the size or number of each group. The remainder is the amount left over when a number cannot be divided equally. An expression is a mathematical phrase without an equal sign. An equation is a number sentence that shows two quantities are equal. So remember, equation equal, it's going to have that equal sign, whereas the expression does not have an equal sign. Let's go ahead and jump into our mini lesson. When estimating quotients, there are two approaches we can take. We can round or we can find compatible numbers. Sometimes we'll be doing both. When rounding, we can round our dividend and sometimes our divisor to create numbers that are easier to use. So for example, Mike spent $252 on gifts for his 3 friends. If the gifts were equal in price, about how much did Mike spend on each gift? Remember, when we see that word about, we know we're going to need to round because we're not looking for an exact number, we're looking for an estimation. We can either choose to round 252 to the tens. So if I round 252 to the tens, that will get me 250. Or I could round to the hundreds place, which would round to 300. Since we're going to be using mental math, I think 300 is going to be a little bit easier to divide by 3, wouldn't you agree? So the hundreds place will be the easiest to use in our heads. So looking at this example, if we round 252 to the hundreds, we get 300. 300 divided by 3, I can do that in my head, it's 100. So Mike spent about $100 on each gift. We can also use compatible numbers when estimating quotients. Compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to divide mentally. When rounding our dividend, we want to keep in mind that we are looking for a number that is easy to divide into. So for this example, it reads, Layla makes dolls out of scraps of cloth. She has 358 scraps and uses 6 scraps to make each doll. About how many dolls can Layla make? So we can use compatible numbers to solve this problem. We know that 36 is a multiple of 6. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. There's that multiple, 36. And if we round 358 to the tens, that rounds to 360. So we're looking for these compatible numbers, that 36, so we can divide easily in our head. So if I divide 36 by 6, I get 6, and then I transfer over that 0, so 360 divided by 6 is 60. So Layla can make about 60 dolls. We did it all in our heads. Let's do a quick check for understanding. Why do we use compatible numbers when estimating quotients? Go ahead and pause the video now if you need to formulate an answer. We use compatible numbers because they are easier to use when doing mental math or doing math in our heads. All right, let's finish up with our guided practice. The Riverwalk is a popular destination in San Antonio. 6,798 people visit the Riverwalk weekly. About how many people visit the Riverwalk each day? So remember, this each means one. So if we know that 6,798 people visit the Riverwalk weekly, but we want to know how many visit each day, we're going to need to break that total up into 7 groups. Why 7? Because there's 7 days in 1 week. So I'm going to be rounding this 6,798, and I want to either round to a specific place value where I can easily divide by 7, or I want to round to a compatible number that's a multiple of 7. Well, I know if I round this to the thousands place, it's going to round to 7,000. So just looking at that, that's going to be really easy to divide by 7 in my head. I know 7,000 divided by 7, that's going to be 1,000. I can get 7 groups of 1,000 out of 7,000. So I'm not even going to look for a compatible number. I'm just going to go ahead and round to the thousands place. 7,000 divided by 7 is 1,000, which is the answer choice C. Trevor's family took a vacation to Maine. They drove a total of 7,152 miles over 8 days. About, so we know we're going to be estimating, how many miles did they have to drive each day? So remember, each means 1. So Trevor's family is driving 7,152, and we want to break that into equal groups of 8. So just looking at this number, I'm not going to be able to round that to 8,000. So I'm probably going to have to be looking for a compatible number. So let's go ahead and list our multiples of 8 and see if we can find a compatible number that we could round this to. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80. Oh, but wait. Look at this 72. If I rounded to the hundreds place, that number, that 7,152, would round to 7,200. And my compatible number, 72, I can easily do that in my head. So I know that 72 is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th multiple. So 8 divides into 72 9 times. Bring over the 2 zeros. So 900 miles each day is about what Trevor's family drove. All right, last question. Earl has 5,498 pictures to put in 7 photo albums. To estimate the numbers of photos he had, Earl wrote 5,600 divided by 7. Which best describes the method of estimation Earl used? Did he round the dividend to the nearest 10? So if we round the nearest 10, that looks like that would become 5,500, so probably not. Did he round the dividend to the nearest 100? So looking next door at this 9, so that again would be 5,500, so it doesn't look like that's going to work. Did he round the dividend to the nearest 1,000? Well, that would round to 5,000, not 5,600. Or did he use compatible numbers? So let's do our multiples of 7 and check. So 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56. So it looks like Earl used compatible numbers to solve this question.